football fans, getting you ready for week 6 of the NFL season. My name is Blake Jennings. I'm from B&K Sports Lounge. I'm going to give you the latest and best football news around. Just to recap what's happened so far in the previous 5 weeks of the NFL season. We've got 2 undefeated teams left. We've got the Detroit Lions and Green Bay Packers, both setting at 5-0. We have a few winless teams, Indianapolis Colts and St. Louis Rams. A few surprises. Buffalo Bills are also a surprise. The 49ers are a surprise too, both setting at 4-1. Most people thought that Detroit at 5-0 was a surprise. Me, myself, I kind of seen that coming, not them being undefeated, but just them having a very good season. We also have the Miami Dolphins at 0-4. So we have quite a few winless teams, and then of course 2 undefeated teams left, both in the NFC North. So who knows? Maybe we'll have a repeat of last year. The 2 NFC North teams, but it was the Chicago Bears and Green Bay Packers that was in the NFC Championship. We might see that again this year, except the Detroit Lions and Green Bay Packers. Who knows though? That's my recap of where we came this far. Last week I was 9-4 in my picks. As far as my fantasy football stardoms and setums, I was right on everyone except for Ben Roethlisberger. I said to sit Big Ben. He ended up throwing, or I don't know if he threw, but he had 5 touchdowns total. Very good game for Ben Roethlisberger, but let's go ahead and get the pick started. First week we got St. Louis Rams at Green Bay. No-brainer, Green Bay. They're undefeated. The Rams are just defeated. Flat out, this is just a no-brainer, I think, for anybody. Buffalo and the Giants. We have I had quite a few tough times picking these picks this week, and started right here. Buffalo's 4-1. The Giants are 3-2. The Giants, throughout the last 2 or 3 years, they've been very inconsistent. One week they could look like a potential Super Bowl champion. Next week it's like, how does this team have a winning record? They're very inconsistent, whereas the Bills, they're a very consistent team. They've been winning, and that caught a lot of people off guard. And if the good Giants show up, they can easily beat the Bills. But I've got to go with my gut, and I've just got to go with consistency. The Giants can beat the Bills, but which Giants team are we going to see? So I got to go with the Bills that I've been seeing every single week. It's been the consistent Bills, and the consistent Bills are going to beat the inconsistent Giants. I've got the Buffalo Bills beating the Giants this week. This one's also kind of a no-brainer. The winless Indianapolis Colts travel to Cincinnati. Cincinnati, yet again, week 6. They've got the #1 ranked defense in the NFL. They're setting at 3-2. They're at home. Indianapolis, we've got a quarterback controversy. I've got Cincinnati. Carolina at Atlanta. This is going to be a high-scoring game. It really is. Cam Newton, Carolina, they can put up some points. But Atlanta's very good at home. They lost a tough one last week against Green Bay. I've got Atlanta winning this one in a high-scoring game against the Carolina Panthers. San Francisco and Detroit. I almost wanted to pick San Francisco. By the way, I'm going with Atlanta over Carolina. I don't know if I said that, but anyways, Detroit and San Francisco. I almost wanted to go San Francisco just because Detroit's coming off of a short week. They had that Monday night game. They're going to have less time to prepare for the San Francisco 49ers, but Detroit, that crowd was electric Monday night, and that stadium's going to be like the 12th man for the Lions this week. Man, I think it's going to be a low-scoring game because both teams, except for this last week, San Francisco just put up a whopping on the Buccaneers, but for the most part, both teams have been slow starters this year. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game at first. I think it's going to end up being a high-scoring game, but I've got Detroit. Philadelphia, Washington. Man, I almost wanted to go Philadelphia, but The Eagles, they continue to disappoint me. They're 1-4. I do think they're going to be a playoff team. I do think the Eagles are going to be a playoff team. And because they're going to turn around this year. If you look at the Eagles' schedule, they've got a very favorable schedule the last 8 weeks. That's a team that's got a ton of weapons. When that team starts clicking on all cylinders, watch out, because when it comes playoff time, like the Green Bay Packers last year, it's usually that wild card team that gets it done in the playoffs. And I do think the Eagles are going to be a playoff team. But listen, Washington had a bye week last week. They've been studying this team for 2 weeks. Washington, no matter what the record is, they've always got a good home field advantage. I've got to go the Redskins. They're setting at 3-1. The Philadelphia Eagles are going to turn things around, but I don't think it's going to be this week. Next, Jacksonville at Pittsburgh, no-brainer. Jacksonville's got a rookie quarterback. Pittsburgh's got the number 2 ranked defense. It's at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's going to get it done. Cleveland, Oakland. I'm going to go Oakland. They're just the better team, more talent. Oakland. Houston at Baltimore. Baltimore, the offense is going to struggle for Houston. Matt Schaub's without Andre Johnson this week. Baltimore's got a very good defense, and their offense is, for the first time, is looking explosive. I'm telling you, Baltimore's a scary team this year. They can compete with anyone right now. New Orleans at Tampa Bay. Look, Tampa Bay, they just got smacked last week. New Orleans, their only losses to the Green Bay Packers. New Orleans is a very good football team. They're going to beat Tampa Bay this week, I'm telling you. Dallas, New England. I do like Dallas. I do think they're going to be a good team this year. But, sorry, I'm tired. But New England, they're the much better football team. New England's going to beat Dallas this week. I think it's going to be a very high-scoring game. It's in Foxborough. New England's got this one. Minnesota, Chicago. I almost wanted to go Minnesota because I feel like Adrian Peterson's going to have a big game. Chicago's defense is struggling. But look, Chicago's came off some tough losses. It's only been because they've been playing good teams. I like Chicago in this one. I think it's going to be a closer game than most expect, but I like Chicago. Now we got Miami and the New York Jets. All I've got to say is Jets, 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 Jets. Jets, man, Jets. You guys have had a rough schedule. You guys finally got a winnable game. Big win for the Jets this week. Big win. Sorry, making sure we're still on record here. Alright, now we're going to go on to my fantasy football stardom setup segment of the show. I'm just going to go ahead and swing into things. Quarterback, I said start Aaron Rodgers. Look, he's going up against the winless Rams. They're ranked 27th on defense. They've even had a bye week, so their numbers are kind of skewed there. I had somebody on one of my YouTube videos say, you could really start Aaron Rodgers every week, and if you don't, you're an idiot. Those were exact words.